There we go. All right, let me kill the volume over here. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome AJDT fam to Sunday Night Live. Here we are, getting a little squared away here in the studio and trying to get set up here. First, you all will notice, I hate my chair's kind of cutting in and out, ruining the scene, but you're going to notice the background or our holiday background. Let me move over here. Jason did an incredible job with this one. AJDT fam, giving you all that bag of money. That is Cliff and Norm, our bear and bull. Happy to be here. Capitano stage fright over here. There you go. From the UK, David Parsons, welcome back from the UK, brother. Good to see you in live again. John, what's up, bro? Welcome to have you here. We're going to do a lot tonight. We're going to try to cover a lot tonight. First and foremost, though, obviously, we are excited to see the gap up, gap down. I really think we're going to get the gap up. I think we may see a little bit of green tomorrow, but I'm a little bit concerned we're going to see some pullback probably until Wednesday. And then we may see, we may see after that pullback a little bit of a bump and run. So we'll see what happens. But obviously excited to see the gap up, gap down. We got the SPY. Oh, this is Micron. There we go. We got the SPY on the screen. So we're going to pull this down a little bit. Let's see. Paulette. Hey, Paulette, welcome. Yep, Paulette is out in Kentucky. How's the snow? We got a lot more snow out there. What's going on in Kentucky? We're going to go over a few things, and I'm going to share some stocks that I've been charting and looking at. I know we had a couple requests already from the Discord group. Want to look at a couple things. Bitfarms, we're going to look at that one. SMR, we're going to look at that one. And just so you know, if you're new here, well, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Very excited to be able to have you here. What we're doing is basically, I create levels and provide those levels. Yep. Louisville, Colorado. We got Jason from Colorado, but I create the levels and I send those in the Discord. So Discord members, you're going to get later tonight, you're going to get the levels for APLD and BBAI, Archer. What else did I do? Poet. Yes, and Dolphins win big time. Vikings win big. Yes, good football day. Good football day. I was busy doing Christmas stuff all day, different Christmas decorations, putting stuff away. My wife was loading totes, and I was getting them back in the attic. My wife does an amazing job decorating our house for the holidays, and just gonna tell you, it's a lot of work though. My wife really busted butt today for the last several days. Working through, I'd say we probably have close to 20, 25 totes. And so let's see here. We've got a request to look at Serve Robotics. Absolutely. But we're about 40 seconds away on the clock from the S&P 500. Gap up, gap down. That's what we really want to see. Lord, give us the gap up. Let's see the gap up so we can run up through the night, because that affects so many of the stocks that we love to trade, especially in the technical sector. With those tech stocks. So we're going to wait and see that. Let's see, we got about 15 seconds to go, and let's see what it does. And then we're going to clear levels, and we're going to talk some charting levels. And we're also going to look at the box strategy. And I'm getting ready to put another video out about box strategy, because I've actually seen some other people, some other YouTubers creating box strategy videos. And I'm like, I've been doing this box strategy for the longest time, and I had finally decided a couple months ago to start talking about box strategy. So I'm going to make a video on box strategy and get it out there for you. If you hear some noise in the background, my granddaughter's here with my oldest son and his wife, my daughter-in-law. So glad that they got to come over and hang out with us a little bit. But she's a little under the weather, my granddaughter. So all right, here we go. We are live and hot. S&P 500. So not quite the gap up, right? It's up. We got a green candle, okay, on the 30-minute. We got a nice green candle on the 15-minute, and that's not bad. Green's better than red, and it's pushing up. So I'm happy to see that. And obviously, as we know, when you go through the different AGDT best day trade stocks, they're going to pump those up. Oh my gosh, look at Tesla right now, though. Tesla is definitely not a gap up or following the gap up, which means AMD is pulling down with it a little bit. NVIDIA, okay, NVIDIA launched all the way up high and then pulled back. Palantir, green. Intel, nice green candle on Intel. Look at the size of that green engulfing candle. APLD, all right, nice green candle into a little red baby candle. This little baby candle right there. So some good stuff going on in the market. We'll see what happens. But let's see. All right, so couple things we're going to do first. And you see on APLD, I've still got my box strategy set up from the prior day. So we're going to actually take this box strategy, and I'm going to correct this one here while we're together, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to get it to the top here. We're also going to bring it up to the low. So now we've got our box strategy for tomorrow on APLD. And, you know, basically, if you're seeing this for the first time, you basically go in and you're going to, you know, grab up the box. All right. On your drawings. So you go here and you grab a rectangle. All right, I'm not going to do it again. And you basically go from the lowest point of the trading day to the highest point of the trading day, and you build that box around it. And then you pull the box all the way across, all right, into the next trading day, and you set a middle line. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with you because I didn't do that on this one. Actually, the blue line here is my middle line, and that was one of our levels. So I'm just going to hold that there, and we'll say it's 30.80. Whether it is or isn't, it's close enough. And we're going to lock that in place. And now the goal is that even though we have this blue line, we're going to get rid of this blue one, make this one yellow too. Okay. This middle line really doesn't mean a whole lot, except it's sort of the median. It's the average middle between the low and the high for the prior trading day. So, so basically we're going to, you know, watch for it to see if it holds above this. It'll probably use this as a support level, and we want it to continue to push towards the top end and break through for tomorrow. So we'll see. And the way you use this box strategy, and probably many of you are sick of hearing me talk about the box strategy. What's up, Lynn? Welcome. But the goal is that when you see it heading in the upper direction, this is not your time to buy. This is your time to wait and watch for it to reject the top. We'll call this a resistance level in the box, because when it hits this level, or even at this 32.20, which we're going to clear everything off of this chart in a minute, even the box strategy. But when you hit this level, then, you know, there's a very strong probability this is where it rejects and it turns to start heading down. So, you know, if you're already in a trade, you are selling here and you're letting it run down, and you wait and see. Now, a lot of times, if it rejects and holds as this with this as a support level and it turns back up, I will buy in here, let it run back up, and sell here and let it run back down. But many times it will break back down and head to this bottom level. And if you see it breaking down to this bottom level, this is the buy zone. This is where you consider making an entry into a trade and letting it run back up. And, you know, you can kind of go across and see historically, right? In that box strategy, even the prior box strategy, with the exception of a little bit lower, it still lived in that box strategy, right? You go back, now it started pumping. So we grew out of the box that day, and then we grew out of the box that day. But in essence, where it is now, Thursday and Friday were within that box strategy. So anyway, it's a strategy I use every day. It really doesn't fail too often. And the way you have to look at it is, if you win 90% of the time with the box strategy and you lose 10% of the time, then you're still up 90% of the time. Okay. But you also have to be very smart about taking losses and setting stop losses. Now, personally, I know even the Discord group will tell you, I don't set stop losses on APLD because I trust the stock so much. I know what it's doing, that even if it does drop like it did on Friday, I'm going to ride it back up into profit. All right. Or I may dollar cost average into it to get it into profit sooner. But an incredible stock that I love. My Discord name is Josh Loves APLD. I was named by another group that I'd been with for years. Some amazing traders, investors. But anyway, they named that for me. So, all right, let's get into some levels. And we're going to do that together. I actually was making notes on here. So give me 1 second. Let's see here. All right. So we did have a request. Let's do this first. Let's go to BITF, and that's Bitfarms. It's a good stock. Oh, by the way, for the Discord members, just so you know, keep your eyes. Probably later tonight, I'm going to be posting some penny plays. I normally don't post penny plays, but I have a very good friend that does penny. That's all he does is trade penny plays. He'll go in kind of heavy, buy a few $1,000s of a penny play, and his set goal is always 10%. And once it hits 10%, he sets a point where it sells in profit at 10%. He makes 10%, he gets out, and he sort of never looks back. It's not like getting into them and waiting for them. And there's a couple really juicy ones. So I'm going to share those in the Discord so you can take a look at them. And again, remember, I don't normally do penny plays. So take a look and see what you want to do there. But let's go ahead and delete all on the chart just in case there's any lines or levels or anything here. And so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a 5-day, 30-minute range, okay? And this is how I sort of set my levels, all right? So first thing is obviously, 292 was our closing price. So I don't generally go by the aftermarket, the post-market, pre-market pricing. I go by what was the last open market price when I do my scalping strategy, or I provide the levels for the Discord group and for myself. I follow them myself, although I failed on Friday with it. But so I go to a 5-day range, 30-minute chart. And I got to give credit to my brother-in-law, Carlos, because this is something that he was doing to understand his levels, where he actually creates a ceiling and a floor based on that 5-day trading day. And I loved it. And actually, I tried it a little bit with my box strategy, and I was trying it a little bit with just my overall strategy, and it works well. So now this is how I create my levels. So first thing we're going to do is you have to understand we have a 52-week range on Bitfarm from a low of 63 cents. All right, if we go to the left, and you got to kind of, really ride it back. Let's go to the day chart. All right, 37 all the way back here. But our 52 weeks is 67 cents right around here to a high of $6.60. So I know why people are watching Bitfarm, because there's an opportunity for this thing really to run. So let's go back to 30 minutes. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look and see what our resistance, what is our rejection overhead resistance zone for this one. So being at 292, let's take a look at this and see where we're at here. Let me go ahead and get a level going. And this is on percentage points. All right, so I'm looking at the levels. 291. Okay. So we're going to say that our rejection overhead resistance is somewhere between 325 and 345. All right. It's up in this area right here. That is our rejection overhead resistance zone. That's going to be the top of basically our move. So what we're looking at is if this thing is bearish, okay, and first let me go ahead and lock this in. If we're bearish, then the breakdown point for us is going to be 285. So we're going to set 285, and we're going to look left here, and you see, boom, all these points right here, okay, were used as resistance points where it broke before it did this nice major launch. Well, we're back down to here, using it as a level of support. So you always have to look left. You always have to see. And most recently, these are the levels here that we want to follow. All right, now if it breaks down from 285, then, and let's get a little bit bigger here so we can kind of understand what's going here. Let's see where we're at here. We're going to set this at 260 will be our first level of support. Because you look here at the bottom of this wick candle, that's the lowest of those, basically 5, 6, 7 days that we have. So that's going to be our first rejection point. Then we're going to consider right here, okay? And we're going to do a charting class. I know a lot of you have been asking for that. I keep talking about it. But this is basically going to be 240. Boom. Thank you. Done. So 240 would be our next support level. If we cannot hold 260, we're going to 240. And then we got to look left a little bit more. And you see bottom 220. Got to pull back a little bit. Okay. So your next level here, bottom, is going to be right in here. And we're going to actually call this 215. Okay. Because we're going to drop below the lowest point. And you can see here, that's where even though it's 220 is the bottom of this wick, that's where in essence it's sat. So we're going to do 215 to be safe. So there is your Bitfarm, okay, support levels. But let's say we're bullish. So we want to go the opposite direction, right? So now we need to pay attention over here. And we need to see what we've got. And we're going to change the color of those. Those are all yellows. We'll leave them yellows. Let's go blue. Let's go pretty blue. There we go. All right. So we'll apply that to default for now. And we're going to go and basically make our, what was I charting this one at earlier? Upside. We can get a clean break. Okay. If we can get a clean break, what we're talking about is 345. 345 would be our clean break. And that's way up here. And we're hopeful to get to that level. And because this is all sitting on basically using as support and resistance level here, but we also have a gap, right? You see this gap here from the gap down that we experienced on December 1st. So that was Sunday night into Monday morning. So we have a basically, an opportunity for this gap fill, which it did sort of do here, but where it filled the gap, but that's going to be our breakout price. So you want to watch 345. Now, what happens if it has a clean break? If this is bullish, then what we're looking for is, in essence, the upside. All right, and I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to show you why. We'll get there. Okay, we're going to pull it across. Okay, so right here, look at all this activity. So let's go ahead and set this one. My line didn't set. Let's go ahead and set this one. And we're actually going to make this, our next up is 385. So watch how 385 lines up. We're setting that, but we're changing the color to blue because we had already done that. Apply to default. There we go. So here you see that you have a lot of opportunity here with it using this as a support level, also as a resistance level, same back here. So remember, I'm sort of doing everything within 5 days, 30 minutes. That's how I find my points of support and resistance on the levels. All right. So 385. And then your next level on this one is going to be, let's go 440. Okay. And let's see how we do on that 440. And there you go. Whoops. I just totally lost that one. 440. And you can see as we go into it, 440 is being used as a very strong support level, also very strong resistance level, also strong here. We come up here. That's actually a 385. 440 up top here. Basically, let's keep running across. And you can see it's where it was using it here as both a support and resistance. Here as a support level, again, rejected as a support level back here. All right. So you have to kind of look, you want at least 3 ticks, 3 candles to show that it rejected, either as a support or resistance level. So that's kind of where we're at for Bitfarms. And I think it was Robbie asked for the levels here. Robbie, I'm going to send the levels in the Discord. I'm actually going to send my map that I normally send out. I send an intraday scalping map on every one of the stocks. So I'm going to put that scalping map in the Discord for you. So you've actually got the levels in case you didn't follow any of these here. But that's what it looks like. And I know a lot of people are like, my gosh, there's so many lines here, right? Yeah, it sort of is. But if you're scalping as a day trader, you want to know what it's doing and what those points are, right? So you can make decisions on buying or selling. And it's worked so far very well. And many of the Discord members have thrown some pretty positive comments in there about the levels, and how they've been pretty spot on. So I appreciate that. We'll continue to use them. And I'm on a 15-minute chart. Typically when I'm trading, I'll go to a 5-minute and I'll look for my entry. Let's get back to the end here. So I will use a 5 minute chart for my entry point. I'll go over to a 1 minute chart sometimes, but I'm going to tell you, I tell a lot of the guys and gals in here, dig a dog. I always say, he's like, hey, I'm on the 2 minute chart. Okay, all right, I get it. You're on the 2 minute chart. You like the 1 minute, the 2 minute. I live in the 5 and the 15. If I really want to get technical, I'll go to the 1 minute chart, but I don't stay on the 1 minute chart because there's so much volatility in the 1 minute chart. You get so many red drops, green ups, red drops, green ups, right? That it'll drive you insane to the point where you'll be wanting to sell out every chance you get. And that's kind of not really how I roll. So 5 and 15 is where I live. Sometimes I watch it on the 30 just because I'm watching for these big candles. All right. And I'll live in the 30 and the 1 hour, but 15 and 5 are when I'm in a trade is what I'm watching. And I try to stay away from the 5 because even the 5 gives you fake outs. The 15 is good. So anyway, that is BITF. So let's go to the average Joe day trader best day trade stock list. And let me check the comments. What do we got in here? Serve Robotics. Yeah, we'll look at Serve Robotics also. Am I missing anything? All right. And we got about 17 people in here with us right now. So I'm glad you're here. Hit that like button on this one for us. And also, if it's your first time here and you're watching this after it's been recorded, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And if you're interested, there's a link below. You can join the Discord, be with us tomorrow morning. I will get the notification you joined and we get you in there and you can get all the levels and kind of have an opportunity to be with the rest of the trading family as we throw around a lot of ins and outs and different stuff that's going on. We don't necessarily do a live trade, but we're live trading together in the chat as we're going. We're calling out entry points. It's kind of funny because I really love ABLD. It's a very easy stock to track and trend and trade, and it's very reliable. And so a lot of our Discord members now are trading APLD with me because of the fact that it runs pretty easy to identify the ups and the downs and a lot of people making money. I probably last week in APLD, let's see, I made about $2,500 on Friday in it. I want to say I probably made close to $4,500 last week for APLD, and that's just the kind of stock it is. But I also go in pretty heavy because I trust it. And you have to be comfortable with the stock, right? I have a relationship with the stock, and I trust it. I know what it's going to do. So I'm going in 1,000 shares. 1,200 shares, 800 shares, depending on what else I've gotten into. Yes, absolutely. John, we're going to look at SMR in a minute. Let's look at Serve Robotics first, though. That was in earlier in the requests. Let's kind of look at Serve Robotics. And give me 1 second here. I have another computer down here with my trading view. And that's where I do most of my charting and levels. So give me 1 second. Serve Robotics and SoundHound have been absolutely incredible and love them. I'm going to go ahead and clear all my lines on here. All right. And now we've got a clean chart. Look at this beautiful look what it's doing on the day, right? It was oh my gosh, look at this Serve Robotics. This is a beautiful transition. 2 major solid full days and a nice day here. Now it is consolidating a little bit, right? So you got to consider, is this going to turn and come back down a little bit? No, look at the volume we have. This is on the day, okay? The EMA is nice. It's above 9. It's above the 9, the 20. You know, I mean, it's above all the levels. So, you know, I follow the 9, 20, 50, and 200, and it's above all of them. The MACD down here has crossed and is above the signal line and continues to curl up further away from the signal. Good signs, and volume continues to grow. I like Serve Robotics. So let's do a little bit here. First, let's see. Okay. So 1342 is where we closed the market. We'll go to 5-day, 30-minute. I think you're going to be happy if you continue to stay in Serve Robotics, and if you don't have a position in it, but be careful, be cautious, and we'll get to SMR in a minute, John, but be careful, be cautious. Basically at a 1381, so let's do the box strategy on this one. And who asked for Serve Robotics? Who asked for Serve Robotics? Gara did. All right. And so, okay. So let's go ahead. Let's do some levels for you on this one. First, let's start with our box strategy. Okay. So let's go ahead and get our box. Oh, I wanted to show you this also. This is kind of another way that if you want to sort of get an easy way to get your your levels without doing a whole lot of work, and you can't trust it all the time. But I believe in the Fibonacci extension. All right. So you want to find your local low. So we'll call our local low here. Okay. And this is kind of tough. We're going to get our local low here. And we're going to pull this. Hold on a second. No. Pull it over. Pull it down. Okay, we need to go. All right, hold on. We got to clear that. Give me 1 second here. It's messing with me. Okay. All right. So we're going to grab this local low and go to our local high. Okay. And let's keep building out a little bit here. Let's go into the next trading day and set that. Okay. And we're going to lock that in place. And so this is kind of an easy way to do this, right? So you've got some lows. All right. You see where it's at right now. It's giving you these dollars, 1377. And that's very close to the top here for the high, to 1460 to 1594. Okay. Down to 1243, 1147, 1026. So you can always use the Fibonacci to kind of help you set some levels. I do it differently. I showed you. Oh, you hear my granddaughter screaming in the background. Sorry if you can hear that. But you can do things a little bit differently. I do it differently. I am going left. You know, I'm doing the 5-day, 30-minute, and I'm looking left, and I'm going back even further in 5 days to build it. But that's a good tool. So you can do that. And let me actually look and see here. Yeah, it's pretty close. So our Gara, I'm going to give you some levels that you may want to write these down, and you can kind of go back to the video if you want later to have. But I've got basically from 1450 to 1520 would be that overhead. Okay. And then your potential pullback targets are going to be $14, 1360, and 1320. All right. Your breakdown is that 1320 price. So yeah. Yes, we can. We can look at that together. Argar is asking if we can walk through what happened last Friday when APLD repeatedly fell with the falling knife below my breakdown level, and then several members of Discord ended up buying it too high. Yes, we did buy too high. A few of us did buy too high, including myself, and ran it down, and we had to chase it back up. We will take a look at that in a second. We'll have to go to the 5-minute on that. But anyway, so your bounce you're looking for on Serve Robotics is going to be between $13.60 and $14, and you want to get back up to that $14.30, $14.70, $15.20 range. Ultimately, if you use the Fibonacci goals, you can, look at these, but you want to stay above the 50%, which is this 1310. If it breaks down, you're running down probably close to 1147. If it stays above and it breaks up and crosses over this 1377, your target's closer towards 1460. But anyway, it's a quick way to do this if you use the Fibonacci instead of having to build every level yourself. It's not as accurate as building your own levels based on the candles, but it does give you an idea of what you want. So let's go to APLD real quick, and then we're going to do SMR. APLD, Applied Digital. All right. So I already cleared. No, these are the levels here. So let's go to the previous day, and let's go to a 5-minute chart. All right. And let's see if we lock it into auto here. All right. And then we're going to pull this up a little bit. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. And so in essence, what happened was, okay, let me go to a 1-minute. And let's pull this in. Oh, Rodrigo, you duped me out with the Argara. I got you, brother. All right, so let's go over here. Let's get in it. All right, so the fake out for me was, okay, and it's on a 1 minute. It's kind of hard to see. There were two basically fake outs here. All right, we have the red pullback. All right, the way APLD works, pretty much primarily every morning, it will drop and run down. Okay, and so on this drop down, you have this major engulfing red drop down. Okay, and on the 1 minute, and I was on the 1 minute chart watching this entry. Okay, we had basically an opportunity. Let me pull it up here. It's not cooperating here. Okay, where we're heading down. Okay, to these levels, and you got this nice engulfing candle. And let me look at the price, because up here in this candle, 31.66. Yeah, it was somewhere in here when we hit bottom, and then you had this green candle. It's hard to remember now, like to kind of replay this in my head while we're doing it live. But one of these green candles over here faked me out, and I jumped in 31.59. If I remember correctly, it was 31.59 that I got in, and caused it to fake me out. This candle right here, I believe, was also a green candle, and then it just started to dump. And then you had this fake out too here, which at this point is up the high at 31.39. We were already in it at that point on the 1 minute. But then we go to the 5 minute, and you had to literally wait. And I know Rodrigo, all right, who is asking the question, he was the king. He got in these candles here, the 26, 80 something levels. Hold on one second. Huh? All right, hold on one second, guys. I've got to pause for a second here. This is frustrating. Give me one sec, guys. Be right back. What's up? Isn't muted for sure. Move your cursor. It's not. Give me. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Pretty much just found out that my granddaughter, playing with Play-Doh, left some Play-Doh out, and my Yorkie puppy decided to eat all the Play-Doh, which apparently is toxic. So we're gonna spend a few more minutes here, and then I'm gonna have to wrap this live up. Yep, and that's my son sending me all kinds of vets and stuff, my oldest son. Anyway, APLD. So basically Rodrigo was the one that got in the bottom here, and a couple other people got in the bottom here. Cannonball, myself, I think Paulette, I think it was. We all were chasing it from the bottom. We got in here, at this point somewhere in a green, and it dropped down further down. So we ended up chasing it back up. But at the end of the day, look at this amazing result for APLD all the way to basically, let's see here, 29.73. It went higher than that. The high was 29.73. Yeah, 29.73. No, hold on a second. Hold on. Maybe my levels are off. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Wrong day. There you go. Wrong day. Okay. Should know it's in the box strategy. So, yes. I hate when it does that. But you can see basically this falling knife, right? This thing just continued on the downtrend all the way to a bottom, 29.59. And yeah, Rodrigo got in at 30.25. So after the 10 minute, yep. And so, yes, he said like, hey, let's wait for 10 a.m. because of the inflation numbers being released. And he did. I didn't. And so I ended up chasing it all the way down with a few others, and he got it at the bottom. A couple other people got it at the bottom. Either way, ended up with a pretty significant result. Like I said, 31.96 was the high. I got out at 31.90, and I think that's around or where Cannonball did. So it was an interesting day to say the least. But yes, Rodrigo played it smart, played it safe, and I was super aggressive on it that day. So SMR, let's do SMR real quick. And SMR. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what we got going on SMR. Now SMR, and let me look here on my SMR chart down here because I think I already did the levels on here. Okay. Yeah. So the rejection overhead for SMR is 2350 to 2430. Okay. I'm not going to actually go through the full charting here. I'm going to give you all the levels on here. And 2140 basically, is about where we're at for, our current price. And what you could expect is if this thing drops, if it breaks and holds below, the downside targets on this one are 2070. Let's see what I have. 2010, 1950. And you want to look for it to break out. All right, at 2430 would be with a very strong. What do we got? We're still good? We're mic'd or we're not mic'd? Can you guys hear me? Hot mic? Should be mic, should be on. Okay, hold on one second. Make sure Jason's on hot mic. So, yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. And let me just make sure you can hear me. Okay, you can. But biggest thing here is you want to bounce at about, if it gets up there, we want to bounce at about 2220 to 2140 would be where we're looking for a bounce back up. And if it does bounce, then 2280, 2350, and 2430 would be good bounce targets for the run up. So bullish, obviously, this is very much a momentum trade towards the mid 20s. We want to get to about $24.30. If it's bearish, then it's going to break down about $21.40 and watch for that slide towards 1950 to 2010. And really the thing about SMR is you have to understand it's a very volatile stock and it can react very strongly to different news. So if there's anything that comes up regulatory in energy policy, any type of nuclear sector developments, then really what you want to do is you want to wait for confirmation through clean candlesticks. And, that confirmation and the volume is very important with SMR. So, and I will send you the levels, John, so you have them. We'll throw those in the Discord as well. But anyway, thank you so much for being here tonight. And let me see here the comments real quick here. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, Rodrigo. I think the expectation of that PCE inflation data being released caused APLD price to drop more than usual. Absolutely. I still see APLD hopefully this week to $34. I'm pretty excited though, because APLD continues to build in my retirement account. So we'll see how that works. But anyway, we are going to wait and see what the market does tomorrow. Let's take a look real quick one more time. How is the S&P 500 holding up with the drop? So 685.69. All right. So it did go up pretty good. It pulled back. So it's still about level, but up from where it closed. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. So 685.69 was the close. We're at 686.22. Let's hope it holds here and we'll see what happens. But yeah, life happens, right? Middle of doing this live and my Yorkie's eating Play-Doh. Okay. So anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here in the live. Drop some comments. Hit the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I am working on the December AJDT Best Day Trades list. Discord members, you will get that this week. And I'll post it for you. And I will create a video for all our subscribers to have that list. And hopefully we have an awesome building wealth month of December into the year end. Happy holidays, everybody. Again, you can see this awesome background that Jason put out there for us. I love that, man. So cool. So cool to have that. So God bless you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Excited to see what the market does at 4:30. Excited to see what it does at the 9:30 bell. You know I'm going to be in 8BLD tomorrow morning. We're just going to wait, and I might be following Rodrigo for his entry tomorrow. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. Josh out. Peace.